we could be alone between city lights. We don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's up, you guys? It is Monday night-ish, 8 o'clock. Wait a minute. Is it 8 o'clock? What time is it where you are? Whew, it's Monday night. Who's got a case of the Mondays, am I right? Oh, Quadstein is in Australia. Is it Monday there, or is it Tuesday yet? It's probably Tuesday. It's Tuesday for some of you guys, but this is the American stream, so we're going on American time. That means it's Monday night, 8 o'clock. It's time for some live streaming. That's some quality H2O right there. Some quality H2O. Also some quality H2O. Cool Hands 21's from Albuquerque. Albuquerque. That's how you know how to spell Albuquerque. Albuquerque. That's how you do it. Oh. I usually start the stream with news, but I do all the news on Sunday, and then nothing happens on Sunday afternoon, you know. So now we're just going to go straight into the live stream. Kyaza Tyrannus X9D Plus 2019 has range issues after accidentally power up without antenna. Yep, it's fried. You're done. It fries instantly. Sorry, my friend. Sorry, my friend. It's done. Joe Gray, I did get your package. Thank you. Thank you for that, Joe. Oh boy. How many gin and tonics deep are you? None, thank you. None. It's just been one of those days. I am none. And this is water, by the way, for the record. This is water. I mean, I can't prove that to you. Oh, hey, Barbwell. Yeah, I'm gonna let that slide. Seems you've been flying with a Radiomaster TX16 instead of the Jumper T16 in some of your videos. Did you make the switch? Yeah, I mean, so the T16, fine radio. The T18 and the Radiomaster, better radios. So, you know, I was always going to switch to one of them once they came out. And I've been leaning toward the T16, the Radiomaster, over the T18. You can watch my review of the T18 if you want the details. But the short version is that I'm not convinced that the T18's 2.4 gigahertz range is... They have an internal antenna, and I'm suspicious of that. Oh, that's water. Does that not look like water to you? It is a family-friendly stream. As far as you know, it's water. Sydney Spar says, your favorite transmitter is still your X9D. Josh, don't lie. I actually don't own an X9D anymore. I gave it away to a patron. I do give away on my Patreon every month. And I'm not drunk, Cool Hands. Not yet. Not yet. I mean, by the time I finish this, I might be. But not at the moment. Nope. It's just one of those days. TJ Walton, what are your thoughts on 1 watt Crossfire? It's better than 250 milliwatts, right? Which would you rather have? More watts or less? More, right? Obviously. There you go. Problem solved. Answer. Oh my God, Eric Stephanie, I'm going to time out you one more time. And if you do it again, I'm just going to ban you from the channel. I'm going to just give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that I don't know. If you do it again, I'm going to just, you're gone. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. I'm not going to ban. One more try. How do you fly FPV smooth? Asks Golden FPV. The secret to smoothness is to practice being smooth. Now, I know that sounds dumb, but what you got to do is try to make the smallest movements you can, the fewest movements you can. Just intentionally try to move your sticks as little as possible. Low rates does help, as 507RC points out. It's much harder to be smooth if you have super high rates, because you have to make even smaller stick movements. So if you're at like 700 to 900 degrees per second, you should be able to be smooth. If you're over, let's say, 11 or 1200 degrees per second, that's pretty fast. It's going to be very hard to be smooth with those rates. Obviously, it depends on your expo as well. But the secret to smoothness is to practice being smooth and to move the sticks as little as possible without crashing. Yeah. So, always be turning, says Ty K. I guess I see your point there, Ty. As long as you're turning, it's easy to notice when you deflect from a straight line, but small moves in a turn is really helps you look smooth. Smooth pilots often are thinking ahead more than pilots, because the more you think ahead, the less you'll have to make corrections. And I think lack of smoothness is oftentimes, well, at the very beginning, it's just a lack of muscular ability. You just don't have the ability to fly smooth because you just haven't got the stick movements down where you could coordinate a turn. But at a certain point, it becomes more about thinking ahead and understanding what you're going to do. You can fly smooth, you just don't. You see, I do that a lot. I'll go into a move and I'll make a little bit of a correction in the middle of the move as opposed to just trying to ride it out. But when I'm flying smooth, I will always like try to ride out that line and not make the correction. Then sometimes you crash. But what can you do? Player White asks, do you think it's a good idea buying a drone under $60 used? No, probably not. Really great drone. Oh, well, it's a really great drone. That has an F3 flight controller? I mean, what drone is it, man? What drone is it? It's a really great drone. What drone is it? Why don't you tell us? It's an F3. F3 won't even run the latest version of Betaflight. I'm not sure I would buy an F3 even for 60 bucks. Maybe if it had like great motors and stuff. The thing is, like, what are you getting for 60 bucks? I'm real suspicious there. Star Jumper in the Discord. By the way, hey, you know, welcome to the live stream. We just dove right in with a little slurping and stuff. But let me do this right here. Hey, no, not this. There we go. This is what I'm looking at right here. Here's all you beautiful people. Here's all you beautiful people. Yay! Look at you wonderful people coming to my live stream. All 339 of you. 339? Those are rookie numbers. Got to get those numbers up. Dr. Disrespect did a stream. He got 500,000 people. Now, I'm not saying I should get 500,000, but 339, go call your mom. Tell her to get on my stream. Yeah. Here's you beautiful people. I'm going to be answering your questions and your comments throughout the live stream. Do PIDs affect the smoothness? Asks Deki Rigzagdakti. Yeah, Deki. Yeah, PIDs do, especially feed forward. High feed forward means you get sharper stick response. Low feed forward smooths it out. So a lot of freestyle pilots who want maximum smoothness, or cinematic pilots, will have low feed forward. See, that's how it works. But in addition, all these beautiful people up here, these people are especially wonderful because they are my patrons, and they're over in my Discord server. And if you want to join them, and by the way, you could join them because you want to support me, but also just because they're amazing, and the culture and the people on my Discord server are so helpful and just amazing. Just people say you should join Bardwell's Patreon just to get on his Discord server. They don't say because he's so helpful and I want to support him. They just want to get on my Discord server. Okay, well, whatever gets you to click that button, and I'll be answering questions from them preferentially. That's right. Like Doghouse FPV right here with this question. What's the best coax for analog video transmissions? Don't use coax for analog video transmission. Sorry, no. None of the stuff we use uses coax for video, Doghouse. It just uses regular, RCA cables and stuff. There are coaxial video systems out there, but nothing we use uses it. So no, don't use coax. It has the wrong impedance as you suggest. There, see how that works? And down here, these wonderful people, if you hit that $sign right here, show your support, throw a couple bucks, I will ignore your super chats for a while. Except not now, because we're going to get these super chats out of the way right now. That's how it works, guys. I mean, I know it says that, dude. I know it says that, but I don't care. RG316 is used for antennas. Antennas, not for audio. Yeah, it's for antennas. Thank you. Bashiraj Ardwell. That's a smart guy, that guy. Let's let 01. If you're a patron and you can't get in the Discord, message me on Patreon. I'll help you get in the Discord server. Sir Tomcat says, got my Xylo build. Can't wait to build. Waiting on some tools. These gatebreaker props are mean. Why don't you like audio in FPV? I just never flew with a microphone. And the microphone audio is super crappy. It just breaks up all the time. It's crackly. And I just never my thing. What can I say? Okay, let's get the super chats out of the way. Usually I don't get to the super chats until halfway into the stream, half hour into the stream. But let's do some super chats. Grilled Cheese FPV, thank you for $5 in the super chat. Grilled Cheese says, hey Josh, you were the man. Thank you, I am the man. That's true. Riding Durance, thank you for $10 in the super chat. Finally got my naked GoPro and Beck board to work. I know you don't mess with them. That's not true. I actually am going to be working on a naked GoPro versus Insta360 Go video. I just got to get the naked GoPro. I have a GoPro Hero 6, but I don't have the naked mod for it. So it's so rewarding to troubleshoot for 3 days and finally get it. You're right. I mean, it's more rewarding to troubleshoot for 5 minutes and then get it. But if 3 days is what it takes, then so be it. Stanley Frink, thank you for $5 in the super chat. Looking for a new frame for a 5-inch build and was wondering if the Chameleon TI is worth an extra $20, $30 over the original Chameleon. Yeah, for sure. The front end of the Chameleon TI is way more durable than the aluminum front end of the original Chameleon. I would totally pay $30 to get a Chameleon TI over an original Chameleon. No question. Steve S., thank you for $5. Ben Thornton, thank you for $5. Big Oily Guy, one of my favorite usernames there. Thank you for $10. I assume like he works on an oil rig and he's not like a male model of some kind. Best way to remove a broken MMCX in the air unit. Oh my God, this is the worst, guys. So one of the DJI Air unit is really robust and difficult to break, but one of the ways that it does break is that the MMCX connector of the antenna breaks off inside the air unit. And this is really a inherent problem with MMCX connectors. That's just how they fail. The little clip breaks off inside the connector. So then how do you get it out? How do you get it out? Well, some people have said that they get a little bit of solder on the tip of a wire, like a stranded wire, and they heat it and they stick it in there and it cools and it sticks to the bit and they pull it out that way. And other people said, no, that's no good. It doesn't work. Some people have said they go in there with a very fine dental pick or something like a dental pick, a tweezer tip, and they pop it out. And other people said, well, I tried to do that and it destroyed my MMCX connector. The final thing that you can do is you can open up the air unit and you can desolder the MMCX connector and just solder a new one on. And people have done that. You're going to need a hot air station. You can't easily do it with a soldering iron. That is a thing you can do if you have the skill. I would probably go with the dental pick and cross my fingers. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, you're gone. Eric Stephanie, you are out of here. That's 2 timeouts for you, dude. You're gone. See you later, dude. Spamming the chat is no freaking good. Light skinned dog. I don't know what that is. You're going to be out of here too, my friend. I mean, I can't have it. It's stupid. I don't know what the deal is. And by the way, when I hide you from the channel, you also can't leave comments anymore. You're just out of here. If you feel like that was a mistake, then you can email me and maybe I'll change my mind. Slappy1 asks, why no USB-C on the JBF7? I actually hate the future. Every time I have moved into the future, things have gotten worse. Think about it. Think about it. Were things better in the past, or are they better now? Like, I feel like all the koalas died in the Australian... Koalas extinct now. Not yet. The Australian bushfires basically destroyed the entire population of the koalas. All the koalas that are alive, there's just not enough of them to keep the species of koalas going. Did you know that? That's true. I didn't make that up. That's freaking depressing. So ask yourself, would you rather live in a world where there are koalas, or would you rather live in a world where all the koalas died in Australian bushfires? There's only one possible answer. Koalas. Hang on a second. Now look. Look. Hang on. Look. I mean, hold on. Right? Am I crazy? Look at that. Okay, now I don't want to get copy struck, so I'm going to mute this. Hang on, let me mute this. Okay, now. Would you rather live in a world with or without koalas? That's why there's no USB-C on the JBF7 flight controller. Because USB-C is the wave of the future. It's the wave of the future. But the future has no koalas. And that's not something I want to be any part of. Okay. You good? Does that make sense? Alrighty, let's see here. Star Jumper, what's your all-up weight numbers with GoPro? Star Jumper wants to know my recommendations for what's too heavy. For a freestyle quad, my opinion is that between 700 and 750 grams is just about perfect. Somewhere between 800 and 850, somewhere between 750 and 800, it gets like, ooh, that's bad. I had one build that was like 800 grams, and I was like, ooh, it flies like crap. So I would say between 6 and 650 is pretty light. And anything under 600 for freestyle, 5-inch, is amazing. It's pretty challenging to get that. Yeah, 670 grams with a GoPro, man, I think that's lighter than average. Mark McAuliffe says we might have frostbite in the future. That's true. Frostbite also. Does it have USB-C? I don't think it does. Mark Philly 80, thank you for $5 in the super chat. I'm flashing iNav on a Speedy Bee. When I enter the firmware flashing part, it only offers Betaflight and EmuFlight. Can you flash iNav? No. Mark, they're going to add iNav, but I don't think they've added it yet. So the answer to that is you can't do it right now. Really FPV, thanks for $5 in the super chat. What do you think of the hyper-low airshot frame? Well, I think let's give it a look. Let's give it a look. The hyper-low airshot. Oh yeah, I know what this. I've seen this one. This is this hyper-low is crazy. The frames this guy designs are insane. I would like to say, for cinematic drones, this method of mounting a GoPro is acceptable, especially because with a cinematic drone, you regularly have to change the up tilt. For freestyle, though, again, I don't want it. The future, koalas, USB-C, and this GoPro mount, don't want it. But for cinematic drones, it's acceptable. I mean, it's a pretty slick frame. I think I actually have one of these. I think he sent me one of these to look at, but I haven't looked at it yet because that's just, you know, I don't know, because I have a lot of stuff. That's interesting. Look at these braces. What's going on there? What's going on there? Why did you brace the arm like that? That's weird. What's the logic of that? Is it that you wanted a thicker arm, but you... Oh, can I just see the image, please? Is it that you wanted a thicker arm, but you didn't want to cut it out of thicker carbon, or you wanted to sandwich his plate? Why would you... Why would you not make this all one plate? Huh. I don't know. I'm sure there's a good reason. Your arm is 2 pieces. That's pretty weird. I mean, I feel like stuff like this is kind of over my head in some ways. Like, I look at these decisions that were made in the design, and I go, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. What a strange decision. Doesn't that just mean when you break the arm, now you have 2 pieces to keep spares of instead of 1? But presumably, there's a good reason. The arms are foldable? No. If they're foldable, I consider that to be a downside. Whoa, UAV Tech is here. Thinner but more strength. I mean, is it more strength than if you had just made it out of 5mm or 8mm carbon? I mean, I don't know. Nick Sebring says bad engineering. Vincent Lodato says too many screws. The thing with the hyper-low frames to me is the hyper-low frames have so many parts. Like, they're incredibly intricate and clever. Like, but look at this. Look at this. Here are all the parts of this frame. Now, when you crash and it breaks, which one are you going to need a spare of? Like, on a normal frame, I don't know. It's to me, and it's just like I respect it from a distance. And, you know, here's what it reminds me of. You ever see somebody in public and you have seen somebody in public. Next. You ever see somebody in public and they're incredibly made up? Like, they're just, you know, their hair is done, their clothes are, like, ironed or pressed, or they just look incredibly sharp. And you're like, wow, and you look down and you're just wearing like a t-shirt and some sweatpants and some flip-flops, and you're like, that person put a lot of effort into going out today. And it's not even like you're, you know, at the Emmys. It's just at the grocery store. And you're like, wow, okay. That's what these frames remind me of. It's like, I look and I go, wow, somebody put a lot of effort into that. And then I, you know, and then I go look down at my sweatpants and I go, well, I guess here's me. Sweatpants. Suit and tie. Oh, Cage Drummer is having problems with the truth about koalas. Sorry, man. Yeah, exactly. I'm confused. I'm confused about that design. I'm confused by the design of that quad. Like, I don't see what it does having that second part there. Especially because, yeah, I think this is what Joe is getting at, Joe Gray, in the chat. Especially because, like, look at this. How much strength do you think is there? How much strength is really there? Look at this. Look at this. Whoa. Oh, my goodness. How much carbon is, like, right there? That is where that's going to break. How much strength do you really think that's adding? Somewhere out there, the designer of this frame is losing his mind. Because he's like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. I thought of all of this. No one appreciates my genius. I mean, I don't know. Think of it, this arm takes a hit, what's going to break? Yeah. So, there you go. You asked, and I answered. Okay. Thank you, really, FPV. Jack Squatch, thanks for $5. Popo Motors. I'm tired of my motors bloodying my fingers trying to get them tight when they come loose every single time in turtle mode. I mean, Jack Squatch, Popo Motors don't have that problem with turtle mode. The biggest weakness of Popo Motors is that if you get crappy props, then they will just... I've met people who use Popo Motors, and they say, Popo, the hub always rips out. The hub rips out and the prop spins. And I'm like, what props are you using? And they say the name of the prop they're using. And I'm like, The problem is that if the prop is not extremely precisely machined, manufactured, molded, then they'll have all kinds of problems. So the best Popo props are, well, of course, the Lumineer props, but also HQ props are some of the best Popo props. Other manufacturers of Popo props, I'm not going to say, like, all of them have problems, but they're not as consistent. And if you are going to go with Popo, then I would suggest getting Gemfan, or not Gemfan, Lumineer props first, Gatebreaker or Buttercutter or T-Mode. Or no, shoot, HQ. Damn it. HQ, Lumineer. William Croth, thanks for $2. Time to get started on the Koala Quad. Yes, indeed. Can I use Popo props on any motor? Asks Joshua Jardwell in the Discord. Yes, Popo props will work with any standard motor. A Popo motor will only work with Popo props. What do you think about the idea of solderless builds, plug-and-play tray system to connect components? Asks T. Simon. T. Simon, I think that's a good idea, but I think whenever you have a brilliant idea and you're like, why has no one thought of this? Ask yourself, why has no one thought of this? And specifically ask yourself, who has thought of this and why hasn't it worked? And on some level, I do that just because I am a cynical, negative, depressing person. And the first thing I think about every idea is why it's terrible. And that actually makes me a good reviewer. Because most of the time I look at a product, and no matter how good the product is, the first thing I think is, I would change a few things. And then I talk about that in the reviews. But it's a good idea to say, why has no one thought of this? And the truth is that there have been some solderless builds out there, except for the motors. I am just banning people right now. Don't, listen. Don't mess around in the chat. I've had it. No patience tonight. If you screw around in the chat, if you spam the chat, this is the third time somebody has done some screwy stuff, and I'm just assumed that somebody's brigading. So if you are regular on the channel, tonight's not the night to F around. I'm just gonna ban you. So, okay. Fair enough. If I ban you and you feel like that was a mistake, email me, and maybe I'll unban you. In the meantime, you're out of here. There have been solderless builds. Like, for example, the Flight 1 Revolt, they sold that flight controller, maybe they still do, with all the plugs you need to connect to, like an RXSR and a camera and so forth. They tried to sell, make it as solder-free as possible, and kudos to them for that. The main thing that I think you haven't seen done is the motors. So you would need to sell an ESC with bullet connectors and motors with bullet connectors pre-installed. And then you could have a completely solderless build. But why hasn't someone done it? It's the big question. Why hasn't someone done it? And there's got to be an answer. And I don't actually think I know the answer because it seems like a good idea. But you don't see it. Even some of the beginner-focused quads are solderable. I don't know. Like, if you think about it, you could sell a flight controller with plugs. You could easily sell wire harnesses to go between the flight controller and a camera, the flight controller and a VTX, and so on. And the only thing you would really need to invent that doesn't already exist is an ESC with pre-soldered bullet connectors and motors with pre-soldered bullet connectors. And those used to exist, but they don't as many now like they used to. Ariel Clone says the TBS Oblivion. Is the TBS Oblivion truly solderless? Can you maintain it without solder? Yeah. Ill Mill correctly identified the drink. Ill Mill correctly identified the drink as an old-fashioned. Yep. So, Jay Larson, no video coming out with me ripping with Stinger Swarm. We just hung out for a while. We didn't really do a rip together. Nice that Stinger Swarm has been posting again, though. Some people have pointed out that plugs come loose. Yeah, they can. They can come loose. They're pretty reliable, though. Mostly. They're pretty reliable. When I remember when the SP Racing F3 came out, and I complained about it having plugs instead of pins, and how that annoyed me. Because if you have plugs, then when you break a wire or something, you need spare plugs. Whereas if you have solder, you just resolder it. So... hold on. What are your thoughts on hybrid cameras, like the Caddx Tarsier? The Caddx Tarsier, hybrid cameras, there are some good ones. There are some good ones. In general, I think that the exposure algorithm and the image quality of those cameras suffers compared to a really good FPV camera, though. Going back to the question about a solderless build, I think the big problem with a solderless build is that it locks you into certain components, especially like the video transmitter. It would lock you into a specific video transmitter. I swear to God, you guys, like Air Madden, I think you're asking a legit question, but you asked it 5 times in a row, and I'm just got no patience for it tonight. Air Madden, you're getting a timeout. If you do it again, you're getting banned. Sorry, man. I would love to answer your question. Don't spam the chat. Tonight's not the night. Heart of America says, replacing a Flight 1 millivolt is glorious. So easy with the plugs. Exactly. So easy with the plugs. What do you think of the new Nazgul 5 V2? I don't know. Let's look at it. Yeah, so there's a new Nazgul out there. How does it compare to the Sedora? How does it compare to the... No, where's the... Here we go. iFlight RC. Nazgul 5 V2. What's it got? Receiver? Got all the receivers. And either 4S or 6S. I guess the question is, how does it compare to like the Sedora SL5E? 800 milliwatt video transmitter is nice. They upgraded the Sedora SL5E to the iFlight Success Force 800 milliwatt video transmitter. I actually bought some Sedoras, and I bought spare video transmitters because the video transmitter on the Sedora used to only go up to 400 milliwatts, and then I found out they had already upgraded it. So both the Nazgul and the Sedora have the upgraded video transmitter. I've always wondered, like, why do they have the Nazgul and the Sedora SL5E? It used to be the Nazgul and the Sedora, and the Nazgul was the cheap one, and the Sedora was the expensive one. But now they've got the Nazgul and the Sedora SL5E, and they seem very similar. Oh my god! Oh my god! You're doing it! They're doing it! They're doing the thing with the thing. This is a terrible video. Oh, it's a terrible way to mount a GoPro. Don't do it. Stop it. Stop it. So that's what I can't figure out. How's the Nazgul and Sedora different? Zingy, they seem really similar. Is it the frame different? Is like one an X and one an H? I don't know. Tell me in the chat. Nazgul was a Banggood exclusive, says Tiago Ramos. That's what I thought too. So the Nazgul was a Banggood exclusive. The SL5E was not. Is that still true? Because Race Day Quads apparently just dropped an email about the Nazgul V2. So then it's not an exclusive. FPVY, I see your comment about the VTX. They upgraded the VTX on the Nazgul and the Sedora though, so they're still very, very similar. Josh Fisk, of course I was quoting Waterboy. Of course I was. Of course. Quality H2O. Of course. I'm going to turn on slow mode. Hang on. Livestream settings. I need to turn on slow mode. Live chat. Enable slow mode. Okay, guys, slow mode is going on. And we're going to do 60 seconds between messages. Guys, slow mode's going on because the chat's just being crazy right now. So. Jeffrey Paybon, any advice on a newbie setting up a Mobula 7 in a trash can with a Tyrannus ACCST plus controller? I mean, I don't have a specific setup for that. I guess I would say look at my Xylo beginner build tutorial. The steps for setting up your flight controller won't be identical because you don't have the exact same setup, but the general steps, like check your endpoints, check your set up your aux modes, those steps are going to be the same. That's what I would refer you to. I want to show this picture real quick that someone shared in the Discord, going back to the question about solderless builds, or solderless builds, if that's what you're into. Solderless? Solderless. This is the TBS Oblivion, which is how TBS offloaded all of their unsold TBS, what was the Power Cube stacks. Very clever. TBS Power Cube. TBS Power Cube was a very cool product, I have to say. I think it didn't sell as well as maybe it deserved, just because this hobby is full of people who, I don't know why it didn't sell better. I didn't feel like it got very popular. Check this out though. This is now don't go be like, oh, I'm gonna go buy that. It's an F3, so you don't want it. It's not today, but it's a stacked ESC, 2 ESCs, a flight controller, a VTX, and I guess an OSD. I'm not actually sure what the 5th board is, but it all stacks up. And the cool part is that these screws are the positive and negative wires connecting them together. These are live. It's intentional. And basically, if you need to change a part, you just take the screw off, lift off the part, and you swap it out. No solder. Very clever. And the TBS Oblivion, right, where's the TBS Oblivion? Uses it, and as a result, I guess it's true. It's mostly solderless. Bullet connectors for the motors. 0 solder for the ESC and stuff. Yeah, I guess that's solderless. And also the TBS Oblivion, very clever, because I wouldn't be surprised to learn that that was the result of a phone call in which they said, we've got all these power cubes and no one's buying them, so how do we get rid of them? And they were like, I know, let's do this. And kudos to them. That's just a guess. Starjumper says, when a TBS video transmitter goes solid red light, is that a sign of it overheating? It comes back after you leave it off for a while. Solid red light is just the normal status for a VTX. When it first powers up, it blinks a bunch. And then after it's done blinking, it just goes either solid red, which means it's locked, or red and blue together, which means it's unlocked. That doesn't mean anything. Boshua Jardwell, those pins don't go all the way through the stack, I don't think. I know, no blinking. Starjumper, after it powers up, it will blink briefly, and then it'll go solid. Does it not blink at all? Hello, Dominic Clifton. Dominic Clifton's here. How's things going over there in the clean flight world, Dominic Clifton? Dominic Clifton recently had a, what's the word for it? Argument. Disagreement with some of the Betaflight devs. And I got the impression that he said, I'm taking my toys and going home. And I'm looking forward to whatever Dominic is going to do that will make clean flight shine, and that Betaflight won't get out of spite. I'm waiting for it, Dominic. Thoughts on why ESCs would start frying after turning on RPM filtering? 2 fried ESCs with a small punch out. That's a tough one, man. I mean, if it's the same ESC, I probably wouldn't buy that ESC anymore. That's what I would say. Turning on RPM filtering should not, in and of itself, fry an ESC. So I think there's more information there about what you did that caused them to fry. Let's see here. No blinking. Starjumper, I don't know, man. Is it in pit mode? Could it be that it's in pit mode and that's what it's trying to tell you? Josh Feltz, I do believe that Dominic is also working for Flight 1. I think that that is also true. So maybe his new goodness is going to be in Flight 1. Got a few more super chats coming in here. Wow, a lot of super chats. Jeez. Big oily guy, thanks for $10 more. Solder for the win. Thank you, sir. Lawrence, thank you for $5 Australian. Say hello to the koalas for me. How many milliwatts do you usually use on your video transmitter? All the milliwatts. When you're racing, use 25 milliwatts because that's what they require to avoid interference. When you're flying by yourself or when you're flying freestyle, all the milliwatts, 800, 1,000, as many as I can get. What's your favorite up tilt for general freestyle? I usually fly about 30, 35 degrees. That's just my personal preference. There's no right or wrong answer there. Mininja, thanks for $5. Jeremy Sarge, thanks for $5. You fixed my Betaflight 4.2 wobbles with the 24 kilohertz PWM change you suggested. Oh, excellent. I'm very glad to hear that that fixed it for you. Mr. Dragon, thank you for $5. Any way to get LQ or some Crossfire RSSI equivalent in the DJI goggles OSD? Yep, absolutely, Mr. Dragon. Pay attention, Mr. Dragon. It's been a minute since you left this. It's been like 10 minutes, but pay attention. I hope you're still listening. To get LQ into the DJI goggles, here's what you need to do. In the Crossfire Lua script, or in the Crossfire module, if you have the full-size module, set one of your aux channels to be LQ. Okay? Like, aux 4 equals LQ. In the Betaflight flight controller, set the RSSI channel to be aux 4. And then the DJI goggles will show RSSI, but it'll actually be LQ. James G in the chat says, I hate how DJI floods across a lot of the analog channels. I mean, James, DJI isn't worse than analog. I mean, analog also will spam you. You have to manage frequencies. So DJI, yeah, they crush a couple channels. Analog also crushes a couple channels. Just manage frequencies. It'll be fine. And the thing is, it's not a unique problem to DJI to stomp channels. People are like, DJI really it's terrible because they when the DJI pilot turns on, then it crushes my analog video. Now, when you fly analog, who just powered up? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Stream is stuttering. Hold on, I know why. It's because frickin' Google Drive is trying to sync. Stop it, Google. Pause. Sorry, guys. Google Drive was trying to upload some stuff. E-Killer says, what milliwatt do you use in races where the circuit is large and has walls, etc.? I mean, the race designers should design the course so that the output power can work. So a typical like multi-GP race where there's no obstacles, 25 milliwatts is what everybody's going to be using. If they design a course with a bunch of obstacles, then they hopefully would let you use higher output power. But that's not very common. Mr. Dragon, got you there. Metal Dirt Skin, thanks for $2. Love a good old-fashioned. Yeah. Here's what I don't get about an old-fashioned, okay? So they say the recipe for an old-fashioned is a cube of sugar, some Angostura bitters, and then 2 ounces of whiskey. And I'm like, okay. I mean, 2 ounces of whiskey, that's a fair amount of whiskey. And they show it like in a rocks glass. And I'm like, what's the rest of it? Because you ain't drinking that much whiskey. I mean, maybe you are. So you look at the pictures like, hang on a second. I'm going to show you what I mean. Yeah, so like, oh, that looks like that's a fine drink right there. That's not 2 ounces of liquor. Look at this. Oh, here's an old-fashioned. Okay, that's a rum old-fashioned. 2 ounces of rum. 2 ounces of rum, 2 dashes of bitters, bitters. That's not 2 ounces. What size glass is that? These guys are lying. That might be 2 ounces, because that's a giant freaking ice cube. Yeah, anyway. The first time I made one of these... Oh, what am I doing here? There we go. The first time I made one of these, I was like, there's this much liquid in the bottom of the glass, and I was like, what, did I do it wrong? Okay. Squishy7, DJI does prevent itself from taking out other channels that DJI is already on. DJI won't interfere with itself, but it will interfere with analog. UFO Pilot, thanks for £5. No questions, just a token of my appreciation. Well, thank you, UFO Pilot. Prosy1 Full, thank you for $5. What's the best icon to look at in the OSD for Crossfire signal strength? I figure the bit rate is the best to look at for DJI goggles. Prosy1, I think LQ is the best. LQ. LQ, I mean, SNR is maybe better depending on your situation. I think that I would take LQ, SNR, and then last RSSI. RSSI to me is the least important of them. FP, I just told you how to get, like 5 minutes ago, I said how to get LQ into the DJI goggles. It's not possible to get LQ directly, but you can get it into the goggles as RSSI. See, and then you're like, okay, now what? And it's gone, and you're like, well, okay. That's why I like a gin and tonic. A gin and tonic, I mean, you got a little bit of liquor, but you got like a drink. You're drinking something. Cameron Kalegi, thanks for $5 in the super chat. What do you do with wrecked boards and parts? Have a small box of smoked components. Trying to be conscious of e-waste. Cameron, I hear you, man. E-waste is just a thing. If you have the skill to fix them, maybe you can fix them, but probably they're just going to go in the trash. That's what I do. They go in the trash. Sorry. T. Simon, it's 10 a.m. and I'm wanting a whiskey. Hey, Simon, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah, if you are Dominic Clifton or Liv U. Prada, and you are just a master at surface mount soldering and electronics repair, you could repair it. Like a whole lot of the blown, like you got a blown flight controller, all it is you blew one inductor and the voltage regulator's fried. And if you knew how to identify the part that was broken and then replace it, it would be alive again. Most people can't do it, though. They don't have the skill. Yeah, so if you have the skill, go for it. Hectobit, it's bourbon, my friend. It is not whiskey. It's not like Irish whiskey. It's bourbon. This is Tennessee. We have bourbon. We have bourbon here. We live right near Kentucky. The mixing is Knob Creek. Knob Creek, when I drink it straight, there's some like $90 a bottle stuff that I sip slowly and don't drink that often. But when I mix it, it's Knob Creek because it's decent. It's it's good balance. If the video's, I don't know what to tell you if the video's stuttery, my friends. I have paused all of the things. No, not that window. I've paused all of the things, like my OneDrive and stuff, and you can see excellent connection. So if it's stuttering, it's got to be your fault, right? See, look, stream health is excellent. Ergo, it's your fault. Okay, glad we sorted that. Jack Daniels, Olafur Holm. I used to drink Jack Daniels a long time ago. I have kind of just moved up just a one notch in the world in terms of liquor quality, but anyway, enough talking about my cocktails. What temperature outside would be the best to tune for D-gain to make sure the motors are not getting too hot? Asks Jacques Lenoir. Well, Jack, I mean, just how hot is it when you fly? My philosophy is tune how you fly. So if you fly and it's super hot out, then tune when it's super hot out. The truth is you will not be able to push the motors as hard when it's hot out because they'll overheat sooner. So if you tune the quad in the middle of winter and you crank the filters and you crank the D-gains and everything's fine, and then you fly to Dubai and it's 130 degrees out, then you're going to smoke motors. Nick Sebring wants to know, do you have a recommendation on a desktop magnifier with lighting? I don't, but I have thought about getting one. My eyes are not what they used to be, and so I often have to like look close when I'm soldering. I have actually literally gotten solder spatter in my eye. I'm not joking. Because I was just like looking really close while I soldered because I can't see up close. And I should get one of those. What I would get is one of the swing arm magnifiers with a light so you could swing it in and swing it out. Let's look. Let's look. Let's look. What do we got here? Swing arm magnifying lamp with light. I mean, like any of these is probably good, right? 1200 lumens, super bright, magnifying glass with light, swivel arm, magnifying lamp, and table clamp, max comfort. Why is this one $80 and this one's only $56? Good question. I don't know the answer. Dave's Biker, I am going to review the Eachine EV300O. It's supposed to be in the mail. It just hasn't come yet. Let's see here. I don't know. I'd probably buy this one. I'd spend like 5 more minutes trying to figure out why this one's $56 and this one's $80 because I wouldn't want to miss out. Like, I probably wouldn't buy the $45 one. What is the $45 one? Oh, it's only available in white. So I would pass. Oh, hang on. No, this one's $488. Really? No. Buy now. Yeah, so License to Drive uses a head magnifier with a flip down. I've had that recommended. I probably would pass on it. I'd probably rather have a swing arm than a head mounted one. Nick Sebring, glad I could help you with the swing arm. Yeah, those swing arms are fantastic. Just come in, come out. Wow, Dr. Pollution with a gigantic $50 donation. Thank you for that, Dr. Pollution. Buffalo Trace on me, my friend. Hope to see you back in Seattle sometime soon. I don't know what a Buffo Trace is, but thank you for $50 donation. Let's Google search Buffo Trace and hope I don't get on a... Oh, Oh, it's a kind of liquor. Thank you. Wow. Are you of legal drinking age? Yes. I guess I'm obligated to buy some liquor from it. Can you buy liquor? Buffalo Trace. Interesting. Well, I'm going to have to go see if they have this at the local store. So, thank you very much, Dr. Pollution. Very generous of you. I haven't heard of that whiskey, to be honest with you. 2 ounces of liquid. Shut up. Adrian Casemiro. Oh my God, a European talking about the fact that we measure liquid in ounces. Oh, whatever will I do? I can't convert ounces to milliliters. It's, how many milliliters of liquor would you like? How do they measure? That's a good question. How do they measure liquor in Europe? Like a shot, right? A shot is 1.5 ounces. In Europe, is a shot 1.5 ounces converted to milliliters? How big? Yeah. No, you're right. Tony RZ. Not just Europeans, but the entire rest of the world. How much is a shot in Europe? Aha! The national standard. Oh, that's national. National only means the United States, right? Shit. 70 milliliters. Single shot is 35 milliliters. 25 milliliters in Wales and England. No comment. Milliliters. Give me a break. Milliliters. Can I have 25 milliliters of liquid, please? I'd like a shot. Now you tell me which of those is more manly. Oh, now I actually didn't know that a double is not 2 shots. I ordered a double at a bar and was disappointed at the amount of liquor that I got. Because the double is just 2 ounces. It's not 3 ounces, which would be twice of anyway. Lewis Pagan wants to know about the new ISDT chargers, the P10 and the P20. ISDT, P10, and P20. Oh, let's have a look at them. The ISDT, P10, and P20. What's good about these chargers? Oh, what do we got? Smart charger. 6S. Oh, 8S. Who charges 8S? No one charges 8S. Right? Does anyone really charge 8S? They don't. So, okay, 6S. 10 amp times 2, 20 amp times 2. I guess 20 amps is more than 10. 500 watts times 2. That's good. Wait. Why does it say 400 watts here? And what do these Chinese characters mean? Oh, you for real? Can we translate this, please? Go. Do it. Will you do it? Oh, there we go. High power dual channel. Maximum charging power is 250 or 500 watts. Okay. Oh, look, a Batco battery. That doesn't exist. That's something that never took off. Oh, Batco. Yeah, not. Oh, can you charge 2 channels into 1 battery? Parallel charging. That's cute. USB firmware upgrade. Yeah, not a digital power supply. Okay. Oh, dark mode. Okay, sold. Dark mode. Sold. Okay, how much is it? How much is it? That's what I want to know. Oh, Taobao. I don't think I'm going to buy it on Taobao, but let's see how much it is. Oh, it's going to be in, like, yuan. Is it available for sale in the United States yet? Well, Banggood. Banggood's in the United States, right? Nope. Doesn't exist. I don't know how Banggood does this, but somehow they put up search results for products that they don't have. Oh, here we go. I got it. Price? Ooh, $55. Wow. Does that have a... Wait, does it have an AC power supply or is it DC only? It's DC only, right? Yeah, it's DC only. $55 is pretty compelling for 250 watts times 2. I mean, like, look at an ISDT Q6. ISDT Q6 is $60 for 300 watts times 1. So here is basically the same price for 250 watts times 2. That's pretty impressive, I have to say. That's pretty impressive. Not bad. Was there an AC version? If you're looking for a DC only one, that's pretty compelling. I'll have to add that to my new products list. Yeah. Let me just email this to myself so when I do my new product roundup, I can remember to add it. Okay. What's the best way to discharge for storage when you can't fly? ISDT makes a discharger that discharges fast enough to get it down to storage in a few minutes for a typical battery. It's like $80 to get the discharger, but it will do a good job. John Woo 4545, who rendered your house in Liftoff Simulator? The Liftoff developers have 3D artists, whatever you want to call them, 3D guys. They did the work. It was a lot of work too. It was a lot of freaking work. Did I get my FetTech 45 amp ESC? Asks John Larson. Thank you for a $5 donation, John Larson. I did. I have it, and I have to now figure out how to install it in my Mr. Steel quadcopter. It did come in the mail, though, just a couple days ago. Jameson Cox, thank you for $10 in the super chat. Kakute F7 HDV, I can't get the current sensor working. I selected ESC sensor in the power tab, but Betaflight won't let me select ESC sensor in the configuration tab. First of all, I don't think that Kakute, doesn't it use analog current input? I think you're barking up the wrong tree there, my friend. But make sure in the ports tab that you enabled ESC sensor on one of the UARTs. That's my guess as to what you have done wrong and why it's refusing to let you select it in the config tab. Wait a minute. That's not right. Here's what we want. Can I see the pinout, please? Let's look at the manual. So here's R7 for a 4-in-1 ESC. Normally, Holy Bro flight controllers have analog current sense input. It does look like it isn't that way, though. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, so when you've got a flight controller that has both current sense and ESC telemetry, well, let's look at the ESC. We got to look up the ESC. What ESC? I'm pretty sure, though. Let's look up any Holy Bro ESC. Well, any 4-in-1. Here we go. Please give me a pinout. Thank you. Look at all those capacitors. Jeez. Okay, here we go. When you have a ESC... Oh, wow. They frickin'... Are you kidding me? They put frickin' fault indicator LEDs on here? That is astounding. Wow. Holy bro. Holy bro. I am super impressed. This is the best thing I've ever seen. Oh my god. Usually, if you fry an ESC, you just have to guess what's wrong. This is amazing. Holy bro. I'm so impressed. Fault indicator LEDs. Love it. Okay. So, going back to your question. If an ESC has current sense out, it usually will not contain current data in the telemetry. It will usually only have current data in the analog. So probably Jameson Cox, going back to your question, Jameson Cox, you probably want internal ADC, not current sense, not ESC sensor. You still could use ESC sensor for, like, I don't know what. There's like ESC temperature, I guess, but yeah. The Sayer Boy, thank you for 20. Oh wow, $25. Jeez, thank you, Sayer Boy. Thanks for all your builds and reviews. They're very inspiring. Thank you very much. Dominic Clifton's such a hater. Maybe they have them because their manufacturing is so bad that they use them as a cheap way of QAing before they ship. Ha, Dominic, you're assuming they power them up before they ship them. Hey man, any kind of QA is better than none. Nick Marino, when will the F7? When will the JB F7 be back in stock? Nick, the initial batch of testers has gone out. We're getting feedback from the testers, and the next order should be in probably by the end of September. And then the next order will be a big order that they should be in stock for a little while. Yeah, Gaptooth Granny says we're still having stuttering problems. I do see some dropped frames. OBS, hang on, here we go. OBS says dropped frames network. It says my network is dropping frames. But I don't know what to tell you. I don't have any, nothing's running. So, Carbon Cage, everyone is in slow mode, not just you. So I am dropping frames. I do agree, but it's the network. It's not the. It's not my CPU. My CPU is looking good. Yeah. See, look, my CPU. I am messing around with my CPU. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh. Oh, yeah. 31%, baby. That ain't nothing. Here, let's get that on screen. There you go. Hello? Why is my... Oh, my God. It's getting worse. My network dropped frames is going up. I don't know what to tell you guys. No, the video card's fine too. It's a network thing. The OBS is clearly telling me that the network is dropping frames. There you go. I don't know what to tell you. Nothing to do about it. I can definitely tell you that OneDrive isn't running in the background. Anyway, we're not going to restart the stream though. Let's keep going. Oh, great. Now YouTube says my stream status is poor. There you go. Now it's excellent again. Oh, good suggestion, Dominic Clifton. Yeah, how's my network? Yeah, my network's fine. Ethernet. Here we go. Ethernet. No, it's fine. See? No big. There you go. I don't know what to tell you. See? Nothing. 3 megabits per second. I doubt it's related to slow mode. But anyway, let's continue. Try pressing Alt F4 to clear your browser cache. Josh Fisk, my my 9-year-old son plays multiplayer games, and we very seldom put him on audio, both for his own protection and for the protection of the people who don't want to play with a 9-year-old on mic. But one time he was in a game, he was on mic, and someone said, press Alt F4 to, whatever, and tricked him into closing the game. And he came to me and he's like, "You're never going to guess what happened. I was playing such and such a game, and somebody told me to press Alt F4. And do you know what it did?" And I said, yes, I do. I was like, wow, I can't. This is the first time in his life when someone told him to press Alt F4 so he quit out of the game. And I was like, welcome, welcome to life. That's going to happen. But I was there for the first time in his whole life when somebody told him to press Alt F4, and it worked. It was great. Lucas Gruka, thank you for $5 Canadian. What do you think about the iFlight Titan XL5 HD? I have one of these quads. They sent me one of these quads, and I was gonna review it, and I haven't reviewed it. And that makes me a terrible person, for the record. I want to just acknowledge that makes me a terrible person. They said, but when I got it, it's so big. It's so big. And I'm heavy. And I don't know. I looked at it and I was like, I mean, it's a good quad. I'm sure it's wonderful. I'm sure it's amazing. I just couldn't bring myself to review it. I just looked at it and was like, I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for DJI. iFlight is not DJI Owen Crony. You're mistaken about that. iFlight, there is a company named iFlight that is owned by DJI. It is a different company than the iFlight that makes Zing motors. They're two different companies. They just have the same name because China. Carbon Cage. Everyone is in slow mode, not just you. I will not unslow you. I will not unslow anyone. So I think that, like, this is probably I mean, it's $450, which is $300 without the air unit. So it's similar in price. Maybe it's a little more expensive than the Sedora, and it's probably a good quad because iFlight generally makes good stuff. But I looked at it and it was just so big and heavy, and I was like, I don't know. I should probably fly. You know what I'm going to do? Here's what I'm going to do. I haven't done a 3-packs a day with a DJI quad in a while. So why don't I just get this going and at least like give it a try? I should fly it. Anyway. T. Simon says it's a big boy, but it's very pretty and it flies good. Yeah, probably right. Copter 612 says, well, you're wearing a cricket shirt. Do you know anything about his moon goat frame? I do not. I know everybody wants to know when his moon goat frame is coming out, but I don't know when that is. Yeah, I'm dropping a ton of frames, you guys. Probably somebody denial of servicing me. Ooh, I'm being attacked. Makes me feel important. Nico España, thank you for 5,000 Chilean pesos. Have you ever flown a fixed wing like the Caipirinha? Do you have any comments before starting in wings? I have flown fixed wings. I actually started out on fixed wings before I got into quads. I don't really have anything to say about it. The Caipirinha, that's a drink, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Now, the Caipirinha, one of the best names for a quad, because a Caipirinha is a fantastic Brazilian cocktail made with cachaça. Don't make it with rum. How do we get back to cocktails? Don't make it with rum, though. You have to make it with cachaça, which is a Brazilian drink. It was made with the remnants of the sugarcane. After they made good rum with the sugarcane, the slaves would make cachaça with the remnants. At least that's the story they tell. A caipirinha is made with a cachaça, and it's quite good. See, cachaça. It's a good drink. I like it. It's basically sugar, cachaça, and lime juice. Anyway, there you go. And it's also a flying wing from TBS. Nick Marino, thank you for $5 in the super chat. Building my first 5-inch DJI, I bought the 305 Infinity because it can run 6S with DJI, but it's only an F4. What do you think? Does it need a capacitor? Yes, if you're running 6S, you need a capacitor. That's just a fact. Any of these DJI-capable flight controllers will work on 6S. They've all got a regulator, so... the advantage of the Infinity is that it has both analog and DJI capability. But if you're running DJI, then you probably don't care about that. So personally, I would take like the Holy Bro HDV is the same price, or maybe even a little cheaper. I'm not sure. It's similar in price to the Infinity, but the Holy Bro has an F7, and I think it also has an SD card. But it doesn't have analog circuitry. But who cares? Because you're not going to run analog anyway because you're running frickin' DJI. So I don't think you made the wrong decision, but I'm not sure it would be the same decision I would make. T. Simon says, be careful when ordering caipirinhas. They take a while to build. I'm not sure that we're talking about the same drink. It's literally just cachaça, sugar, and lime juice. Done. It's the simplest. It's a very simple drink. It's a good drink, though. Cachaça is an interesting liquor. What do you think is a cheaper alternative for the Insta360 Go for mounting into toothpick quads, asks Ian Nikinto. I don't think that there's a better alternative. Let me ask you this. What out there is smaller than the Insta360 Go, or even as small, and delivers image quality worth a damn? I don't think there's a competitor to the Insta360 Go. And that's why everybody is using the Insta360 Go. So, there you go. Will D8 mode ever be supported on the Tyrannus X9 Lite? Asks James, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, obviously, James, anything could happen, but no. FreeSky has said no, they're not going to do that. They could have done it, but they didn't, and I doubt they're going to change their mind about that. You think my Spotify is doing something? No, what Spotify is not doing anything. Spotify's not doing. No, because we checked. We checked in the Control-Alt-Delete task manager. Nothing is doing anything. If we look at network, Ethernet. Like my son is doing something and using my internet. Stop using the internet. It would be upstream anyway. Here, look. Here's what we're gonna do. Here, look. And make sure I'm not going to expose some information by bringing this up. Let's go into my router. We're going to look at my router. Let's make sure. I'm going to expose my IP address, though. Oh, that's it. No, I can't do it. I can't expose. If you find out what my IP address is, then I'll really be doomed. Let's see. Internet, Ethernet 0. 4TX, 4.42 megabits per second. No. It doesn't. I'm not going to put it on screen because I don't want to put my IP address out there because then God knows what will happen. No, see, my upstream is only 4.3 megabits per second, and I have like a 20 megabit per second internet connection. Ooh, 20 megabits per second. I don't know what it is. Honestly, I have no freaking idea. Anyway. Enough about that. I hope it's smooth, but that's all. I mean, I'm still seeing... Let me reset stats. Reset stats. Let's see if the dropped frames have gone away or if they're going to keep happening. Are the SkyZone Sky 030 still the best goggles for starting out? They're still really good. The ones that I'm waiting to get are the Eachine EV300O. They have a lot of potential on paper, so I want to try them out before I have any opinions. How do I tighten up power loops? Asks Triprot. To tighten up a power loop, you need to pitch back more. The more you pitch back, the tighter the power loop will be until eventually it just becomes a backflip. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. What I would say is find an obstacle that you feel safe power looping over and practice getting it tighter and tighter. Like, use like a bar. Don't use like a tree or something. Have like just like a soccer goal, but with no net. Okay? That's like, find something like that. Fly underneath it, power loop back over it, and just work on tightening that up. Okay? Yeah. You're going to pitch back more, and it's not, I guess it's less throttle pop, but here's the thing. If you are pitching back, you actually don't want to get off the throttle sooner. Think about it. As you pitch back, you are still pulling up until you get to, well, even here, even when you're straight up and down, you still want to be pulling throttle into the move. It's only as you start to go inverted that you might think about dropping the throttle. And there's actually a version of the power loop where you have so much speed that you leave the throttle up and you're pulling yourself into it through the whole move. So don't focus so much on boop, boop, shortening up the throttle pop. Focus more on pitching back more. And make it maybe less of a throttle punch. Not a faster throttle punch, but just raise the throttle less so you get less up. Okay? That's what I would say. Yeah, Delta Chrome 98. Think about shifting the momentum. If you think about it, if you have enough forward speed, then as you raise the throttle, you'll pull yourself through the power loop. So getting off the throttle earlier isn't necessarily the right choice, but less of a punch at the beginning, less of a pop, so that you get less vertical at the top. But the thing is, you need the throttle to stay up, because if you lower the throttle too soon, you will get up, but you won't get any back. You see? Yeah. So you want to stay, I would say you want the throttle to be up at least through the straight up and down part. And in fact, the way I think about power loops is I raise the throttle and pitch back, and as I come to about here, I pop the throttle, one last little pop, to go whoof and throw me back. So my power loops don't go zzzz. My power loops kind of go zzzz, boing, right? There you go. Copter 612, I have not started work on a JB H7. I don't see a compelling advantage to an H7 right now. I know Dominic Clifton is in the chat, and he will disagree with me there. I don't see a compelling advantage to an H7, and an H7 would add like $10 to the price of the flight controller. So, Mike Bergman, the Brain FPV Radix will not accept VBAT. It takes 5-volt only. Yeah, my thinking, and this is not like how to make a perfectly circular power loop, but it is how I make power loops that mostly don't put me into trees. I pitch back and I raise throttle and I climb. And as I realize that I am at the altitude where I have cleared the obstacle, I pop the throttle one last time to throw me back. And I continue pitching back. So I climb, pitching back and raising throttle until I'm at the altitude where I'm clear of the obstacle, then pop the throttle and throw back through the gap, and then lower the throttle as I go around. Dominic Clifton says, it's cheaper than the F7. Dominic, all I know is what iFlight told me when we were talking about options. 661 FPV, TBS is live? Don't you dare leave my stream and go watch the TBS stream. Hold on a second. There's something I need to take care of. Facebook.com. TBS Lounge. Don't you guys stay right here. Stay right here. I just need to check on something real quick. TBS Lounge. Okay. Just 1 second. I'll be back to the stream in just 1 second. No. What are they doing? Why can't I hear anything? I can't hear anything. There's no sound. Audio not working. Ah! It's not just me. Okay. No. Whatever they have to say, it can wait. Oh, have they let you back in the lounge? I just went to the lounge, 507RC. I am back in the lounge. Mike S., thank you for a $25 super chat. That's a giant super chat, and I really appreciate it. You helped a few weeks ago with my Xylo build. After numerous emails, I got it going. Thanks so much. Now I need to learn to be a better pilot. Stick time, my friend. Stick time. That's the answer. Do you prefer the SkyZone Skyo 2X or the Fat Shark Attitude V5? I think the Fat Shark Attitude V5 has a better looking screen, but it's a 16:10 aspect ratio, and it chops off the top and the bottom of the it chops off the top and the bottom of the image, which bugs me. So I would probably take the SkyZone. Phantom FPV is up late. Phantom is usually in my Sunday streams, but now he's in my Monday night stream. What's up, my friend? Choripan. Trappian has invited me to come. In fact, people said, how are you back in the TBS Lounge? I've been back in the TBS Lounge for a while, and me and Trappy have kind of been on good terms. I know it's gonna end horribly. I'm not like saying, oh, I'm gonna screw it up. I'm just saying there's people out there in the world that that your personalities just clash. Eventually, I have accepted that I'm going to do something that will enrage him. But for now, we're getting along, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy that we're getting along. In fact, he actually said, you could come on the stream sometime. So maybe I'll be on the stream. Oh, they're watching me now. Hello, TBS. Should I go on the stream, you guys? Should I go on the TBS Lounge? We'll create a loop of streaming. Dominic Clifton, it's on their Facebook. It's in the TBS Lounge on Facebook. They stream on Facebook. Oh, Wayne and Trappy are watching me. Hello, Choripan. I don't know. Well, now the pressure's on. I'm glad we're getting along too, Tiago Ramos. I mean, there are times when we don't get along, and the reasons we don't get along are important enough to us that we keep not getting along. But as long as we're getting along, I'm happy we're getting along too. You know? I just wait. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. But until it drops, I'm happy. Am I ever coming to Portland, Oregon? I mean, I would never say never, but I'm not doing a lot of traveling right now with the whole, coronavirus thing. I'm traveling some as long as I can drive. I don't want to get on a plane, though. I don't think it's a good idea. I'm not looking forward to sitting inside a... I mean, I didn't love flying even when there wasn't a pandemic. But now that there's a pandemic, I'm just like, I don't know about that. Oh, yeah, let me test the power output of the Crossfire V2. It's gone so well for me in the past, testing the output power of TBS stuff. That's really worked well. It's really made my life better. Bright Until I Fly says you're no one until you piss Trappy off at least once. I mean, there's probably some truth to that. What's going on with Rotor Riot being sold? Jeremy Sarge, you're going to have to catch me up a little bit there, my friend. Rotor Riot was bought by Red Cat some months ago. Before that, it was half bought by Race Day Quads and then sold. So, I don't know. What's going on? I don't know. Rotor Riot's just making content, selling stuff. Mythic Lion Man says... My challenge with power loops is knowing when I'm clear. I don't have enough tilt, so I'm flying blind when headed up, and I send it to the moon. Here's what I would do, my Mythic Lion Man. Do a power loop where you can see something in front of you. Like you're going to power loop over this tree, and you're looking at this other tree in front of you. And gauge, based on the thing in front of you, when you've gone high enough to clear. A blind power loop where you're just looking at the sky, that's the hardest one. With those, you just have to guess and time it and cross your fingers. But the easier power loops are whether you either have something off to the side of you or, pardon me, excuse me, or you have something in front of you and you can see how high you are. Excuse me. Will the reason for your travels be made public soon, or was it a completely private trip? It was a private trip. Every so often, someone or something comes out of the blue and says, will you come do a class for us or do a training? And I say no. No, not really. I don't want to travel. I don't like traveling very much. I mean, once I travel, I'm happy to be there. And when we've done, like in Orlando, we'll do a Quads and Coffee, or in Seattle, we did a meetup. when it's happening, I'm like, this is really great. I should do this more often. I should get out. I love meeting people. It's really good. But if you ask me, do you want to come to Portland? No. No offense. I don't want to go anywhere. Ask me if you want to. Say, do you want to go to dinner? I'll buy. And I'll be like, I probably have to put clothes on. And then I'd have to, sit there. It'd be pretty awkward. Probably have a conversation. I could just stay home and order a pizza. So don't take it personally. I don't want to do or go anywhere. So somebody will say, you want to come to a class? And I'll say, no. And then they'll say, okay, but we'll pay you a lot of money. And then I'm like, I do like money. So that's basically what happened. The reason for the travels is sometimes someone pays me to go somewhere and teach them about quads, and that's it. That's the gist of it. But it's not like I was shooting episodes or anything. So fuck. Oh, the ice. The ice got me. It's always the ice. Jay Larson, I did see the post about Sharpoo wanting support for the film he's making. I actually talked about that on yesterday's live stream. So if you want me to come visit your town, I guess what I'm saying is I would love to meet you, but I hate traveling, and I probably am not going to come. But there is an amount of money that would change my mind. I actually haven't been vlogging very much, Caustic FPV. I haven't been vlogging very much. When I first started doing Rotor Riot trips, I vlogged a lot. And lately, when I travel, I don't know. Just haven't been feeling it. What am I going to say? I'm happy. Like, this idea that, I'm just not feeling it today. Like, you don't go to work at the frickin' factory and like, you know what? I'm just not feeling it today. You go and you do your job. And I feel that way about creative jobs, too. Like, this idea that, I'm just not feeling it today. Just, I sit down and I make videos and I answer questions and I do the work. And to me, vlogging was always something I kind of did for fun. And so when I go on a trip and I'm just like, I'm just not feeling the vlogging. I'm like, okay, that's not really my job anyway. But, yeah. Prosy1 Full says LQ never shows 100%. Are you sure you're seeing LQ and not like RSSI? Yeah. Fly to Australia. Jeez. No offense, T. Simon. I've been to Australia once in my life, and I'm never going back. No, I'm joking. When I was much younger, I did a company trip to Singapore. I went to train the Singapore tech team, the engineering team. And while I was in Singapore, it's only like a 2-hour flight to Sydney. It's like not that far. They're pretty close. And so I visited Sydney for the same reason. And it was like a 19-hour flight to get to Singapore. So it's a long time to spend on an airplane. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Caustic, I also really enjoy the vlogs. But I mean, like, you gotta be feeling it. The problem is that when you're vlogging, on some level, you are less present. Instead of just doing the thing you're doing, you're thinking, you're meta-analyzing it and thinking, okay, what's the through line? Like, every one of my vlogs, I tried to come up with a sort of through line joke or through line, I don't know, something. Like I would and one of my first ones, I was throwing a bag of coffee at Final Glide. I would ask Final Glide, you want some coffee? And I would throw a bag of coffee at him. And it was just a reoccurring theme throughout the vlog. There have been other ones. I'm not going to think of what any of them were. And so at the beginning of the trip, I would have to find something creative to do to be the through line for the vlog. And then the whole time you're there, you're vlogging. Like everything you're doing, you're trying to vlog it. And it just means you're less present. And at some point, I just, lately when I go on a trip, I'm like, I'm just going to do the trip. So, yeah. Vlogging is, like sometimes vlogging's what I want to be doing. It has been what I want to be doing, but not always. Change Agent says vlogging photos and videos cheapen the moment. I mean, I don't know. It's true that you're less present when you're vlogging than when you are not vlogging, but it's not necessarily true that being present is the number one most important thing you could be doing at any given moment. Do I have corona or something else? I don't have anything. Not everyone who has a stuffy nose has coronavirus. Calm down. Maybe I do have coronavirus. Shit. David Tanner D in the Discord wants to know, I just got a BL Touch for my 3D printer. How are you liking yours? Is it saving you time with bed leveling? Yes, BL Touch is amazing. People who said, oh, BL Touch is just another thing to break. You don't want BL Touch. You were wrong. BL Touch is amazing. In your start G code, you have it do a 3-point bed level check. So you do like a 100 point and it measures the contour of the whole bed. And then every time you go to print, you do a 3-point level check and just checks the actual tilt of the bed. And then just every print, the first layer is perfect. That's it. Every print, the first layer is perfect. So my BL Touch has been amazing. I haven't had to do a single thing with my printer since I installed BL Touch. I just make sure the filament is dry. So like if the filament hasn't been used in a while, I bake the filament before I print. And then I just hit print and I watch the first layer go down and it's perfect every time. BL Touch is amazing. I'm a big fan of it. Phantom Ganon 03. Is there any way to tell if you've unlocked your TBS Unify? Wow. I don't know about that, man. I mean, just put it at, try to put it on one of the locked out channels. Use smart audio. Try to put it on one of the, I don't remember what channels are locked out, but put it on one of the channels that's locked out. And if it goes to that channel, then it's unlocked. How about that? Let's Let 01, thank you for $5. Clone the Radio Bind video was fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Johnny DRC, thanks for $5. Kevin Turner, thanks for $10. Wait, Kevin Turner, is that Evan Turner's dad, Kevin Turner? Or is that a different Kevin Turner? Thank you for $10, Kevin Turner. Marley Lepo, thanks for 50 Norwegian kroner. What's up? What have I missed? I mean, only the whole live stream, Marley, but it's okay. Marcel Robert, thanks for 5 Canadian dollars. Wondering if you know about having fail-safes when flying with the new Radio Master TX16S. Just upgraded the radio, same old builds that flew, no problem. I mean, if it all started, have you done the frequency fine-tune? If this is Free Sky, there's a thing called frequency fine-tune. And that's a thing you need to do to get the maximum range. 661 FPV. Both LEDs on. He said the red LED was damaged. So, of course, he can't check both LEDs on. That was the whole point of the question. Good suggestion for the second part, though. 661 FPV says, check the debug value in Betaflight. Set debug to smart audio. If it is 316, it means it's unlocked. If it's 316 unlocked, 200 not unlocked. I mean, I still feel like my way was better. I know if both lights are on, it's unlocked. He said the red LED was broken. I'm not an idiot. I mean, mostly. I know that both LEDs mean it's unlocked. Thank you. Oh my God. Everyone is saying that. Yeah, I am seeing 4% network dropped frames. I don't know what to say. One of those people that I blocked is trying to DOS me. Denial of service. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. You can check it with an RF power meter if you have one, but most people don't have one. How do you feel about Betaflight 4.3 and the auto motor remapping stuff? Does every open source project eventually start to morph into nonsense? What are you talking about? Copter 612, what am I missing? The auto motor remapping stuff that's proposed for Betaflight 4.3 is amazing. Why do you call that nonsense? I'm a big fan of anything that makes it easier for people to use the freaking product. So I'm not sure we're on the same page there, Copter 612. But let me know if there's something I'm missing. Phantom Ganon 03 says, according to Smart Audio, I can fly on Raceband 1, which should mean that you're unlocked. But my range has been far less than I expected. Phantom Ganon, if you have the VTX table power values set wrong, the VTX will lock itself at 25 milliwatts no matter what you set it to. So it may be that you have the wrong power values in your VTX table. For example, if you loaded the VTX, the Smart Audio 2.0 VTX table, but you have a Smart Audio 2.1 video transmitter, it would lock itself at 25 milliwatts no matter what you did. So Dominic Clifton, the Betaflight devs don't want to make it easier. We still have the CLI. Yeah. I feel for the Betaflight devs who work their asses off, and they should get credit for all that they do. At the same time, it frustrates me. I mean, I feel bad saying it because these guys work for free. They bust their ass. And so for me to go, I wish they would choose to do something else. It's like, well, what right do I have to ask for that? I don't. So fully acknowledged. But it frustrates me. I guess what I'm saying is, it frustrates me that they don't share the same priorities that I do, which I think a lot of people can identify with. I deal day in and day out with total beginners who ask me questions, and I could make a list of the 5 things that would make Betaflight easier to use, because they're the questions that I answer 100 times a day. Well, maybe not quite 100. And I say, well, what can we do to make it easier to get your receiver working? That would get rid of 25% of the questions that people ask about all of Betaflight. I'm almost not exaggerating. And they go, well, you know, that's not something we're really interested in working on. We want to work on the PID controller. Okay, damn it. This motor remapping wizard. Flight 1 has been doing that for literally years. Why? Where has it been in Betaflight? Well, nobody. It's an open source project. Nobody wanted to work on it. Okay, how? Why? Because we don't care. Because we just want to make the PID controller work good. That's what we want to do. Okay. Where are the people who want to make it easier to use? I wish there were more of them. The other thing is that you see people come along, like the PID sliders. Aren't they amazing? Yeah, PID sliders make it so much easier to tune PIDs. Why are the PID sliders not in the OSD? Someone started working on that. You can see in GitHub where they started working on it. And then there was a lot of questions and pushback and hurdles. And I'm not going to judge whether those hurdles were valid or invalid, but the effect is that the person who was working on it walked away and isn't working on it anymore. And that's a shame. So I wish it were easier to use, and I wish there was more focus on making it easier to use. But that's just not where the focus is. And so be it. So then why not just do everything with Falco X, right? Falco X is amazing. It's easy to use. It flies good. Good question. Good question. Certainly the variety of hardware that's available makes Betaflight very compelling. Anyway. Dominic Clifton, a man with some experience on this topic. Betaflight devs alienate too many other devs. That's why nothing gets done. Yeah, I've heard that accusation before. I'm not in a position to weigh in. I definitely feel like the Betaflight devs are managing an enormous project, and I don't have enough experience as a dev. I don't have any experience as a dev, and certainly no experience. I mean, I have a degree in computer science, if you can believe that, but I have no commercial, public, large project coding experience. So is the amount of pushback that they give appropriate to just managing a project this size, or is it excessive and it runs people off? I don't know. Lemon FPV, thanks for $4.20. What a strange amount. Why would you give exactly $4.20? Well, anyway, thank you for your donation. Prosy One Full, thanks for $2. Positive LQ is at 75%, 95%, only when 2 inches apart. Prosy One, how are you getting LQ into the flight controller? That's the question. If you're if you're getting it in as an RSSI aux channel, then that could cause the problem. The easiest way to get LQ into the flight controller with Betaflight is that it can just read LQ directly. So that's what you want to be doing. You don't want to be using an aux channel. Dominic Clifton says it's an excessive amount of pushback. I could have predicted that you would say that. Other people have said it too. The thing is, at the end of the day, I mean, these guys run the project. The other thing that is frustrating is that it feels like some of the people who are running the project are kind of burned out. And it's like, yeah. I think that Dominic, if there is a place in the world for something that runs on Betaflight flight controllers, but is more open to ease of use and livability improvements. I definitely think there's something out there. Prosy One, don't use the aux channel. Just disable the aux channel, and then in the OSD, just use link quality. It can read it directly from Crossfire. I assume you're using Crossfire. Anyway. Can't find the failsafe option in the TX16S, says Ian Naquinto. It depends on what protocol you're using, Ian. Like FreeSky D16 failsafe is in the controller. FreeSky D8 it's not. It's only on the receiver. So whether you see failsafe or not is going to depend on what protocol you're using. Sorry guys about the slow mode in the chat, but there were some people spamming the chat, so I've turned on slow mode. Sucks, but that's life. Jens Kleinschmidt, thank you for €5. Thank you very much. 10 minutes left in the chat. I haven't seen Aaron Ciotti. Is he coming by tonight? You there, Aaron Ciotti? Are you there? Why don't you fly at buildings anymore? Asks Sam Klug. I'm not sure about the question there. I mean, I haven't been getting out much because, you know, there's a global pandemic. And also, I just don't like to leave my house. Oh, okay. For the record, I currently have 0% dropped frames. UAV Tech, what are the 5 things? You just need one guy to make the pull request and submit it. If only it were that simple, UAV Tech. I think we both know that's not true. Like it's not that simple. Like, so the number one problem that people have when setting up Betaflight, this is it. I guarantee the number one problem is that they can't get their receiver working. The most common single question that I get is, I have bound my receiver, but I don't have movement in the receiver tab. It's something that boils down to that. And some of that is wiring. You got to be able to do the wiring. But then the other half is Betaflight, the UART, and so forth. If there was a way to auto-detect the receiver protocol and auto-configure it, that if I could wave a magic wand and fix one problem, that would be it. However, when I say this, I hear all the reasons why that's not possible. Okay, well, maybe it's not possible. Flight 1 does it. Oh, Flight 1 only uses one flight controller, so they know what pins to look at. I don't know. I'm not here to, I'm just, that's the single biggest issue. Guarantee. Yeah. So Dominic Clifton, the response that I got a long time ago, I don't even remember who said this, so I'm not going to, but the gist of the response was that because Betaflight has a ton of different targets, it would be very difficult. You couldn't tell a receiver from a GPS, or I don't know. It was that it was just not, it was not feasible. Well, okay. Auto detect of which UART the receiver is on and which protocol the receiver is running. That would solve so. I mean, I'd be out of a job. No, not quite, but that would solve so many problems. It'd be so helpful. And I don't know. I'm not sure why you can't do it. Like, they say you can't do it, but like, I understand that the digital serial protocols, if you have S-Bus coming onto a UART and you tell the flight controller that it's Spectrum 2048, the channels will just all go blah, 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 but there's no protocol to like tell you that you're interpreting it right. But it just seems like it ought to be doable. There are a finite number of UARTs, and there are a finite number of receiver protocols. It feels like maybe it would take 3 minutes to scan all the UARTs. I don't know. Still be faster than a lot of people automatically setting it up. Anyway, there you go. That's number one. UAV Tech. What's number 2? I'm not sure if it's number 2, but the VTX table setup is high up there. People misinterpreting the VTX table or misconfiguring the VTX table. The channels are not such a big deal, but the power levels are, people get the power levels wrong. And then their video transmitter locks itself at 25 milliwatts. Yeah. So, yeah, Dominic Clifton, great, do it. Dominic's like, it's not so hard. You just do great. Do it. You're a developer. Make it happen. Dominic Clifton, I'm looking forward to Clean Flight having auto receiver detection. Make it happen. It'd be huge. It really would be huge. And then VTX tables. The manufacturers have to. We're not going to do it. We're not willing to take the risk that I don't know, the FCC will get on our butt. Okay. Marley Lepo, thank you for 50 kroner. I can't flash BLHeli S. The flasher doesn't see the ESCs. Any ideas? Is it a BLH32 ESC? That's my first guess. Motor remapping, Betaflight is getting that. So the next, another one that would be super helpful would be a board alignment auto detection and motor remapping auto detection, like Flight 1 has, for the record. Like, board alignment is so freaking easy. That's the thing. Board alignment is so freaking easy. Like, you just put the quad on its nose, put the quad on its side. It's so easy. There's no excuse to not having it except that it's work. And, you know, nobody wants to do the work. I've heard that the Betaflight configurator is a mess. The code is a mess. And, yeah. And it's just difficult to do anything. I mean, UAV Tech, I'm not trying to say just copy Flight 1, but that's basically what I'm saying. The thing is, Flight 1 should get credit for actually doing it, but like automatic stick to endpoint detection, simulators have done that forever. It's not like Flight 1 invented that, right? The idea, raise your throttle so we'll detect which channel is your throttle. They didn't invent that. Simulators have done that. Endpoint detection, simulators have done that. Flight 1 gets 1,000 gold stars for being the first to actually freaking do it. But if tomorrow Betaflight or CleanFlight does it, it's not, no, I don't want anybody to say, oh, they're copying Flight 1. They're following Flight 1, but Flight 1 didn't invent the idea of automatically detecting what your channels are. So I would love to see that stuff, though. That stuff is, it makes, you guys, you have no idea how much collective person hours you will save humanity by implementing this stuff. So many people struggle with these ideas. And it could be done automatically, and I wish it was. I wish it was. Having said all that, like, oh, the answer is always, well, it's an open source project. Anybody can contribute code. Why don't you just learn to code and then write code and contribute it and submit a pull request? Okay, let me just get right on that. Nope. Instead, I'm just gonna. But the thing is, here's the thing. I'm not just some whiny jerk complaining. I'm giving you market research about where people struggle. And if you had customers who you cared about satisfying, you would value this information. If somebody came to you and said, look, I deal with 80 to 200 messages from your customers every day for the last 3 years. I've been doing this. And I'm here to tell you the number one thing you could do to make your customers' lives better is X. That's gold. And because this is an open source project and the devs all work for free, they don't have customers. They just do what they want, and more power to them. But it does mean that there's no incentive to make these changes. So some days, I think maybe the commercial products actually are. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of open source. I love it. But if there's one thing about open source that pisses me off, it's that the devs have no obligation to satisfy the users. They just work for themselves and they do whatever the hell they want. And there's a certain beauty to that, a purity. But also it's enraging because there can be 5,000 people who use your product and hate something about it, and you're just like, whatever, I don't feel like working on that today. Sucks to be you. And meanwhile, if you are Flight 1 and you actually have paying customers, you're like, oh, I guess I better do something to make my customers happy. Anyway, well, it's 10 p.m. I guess that's it for the live stream. Thank you so much for coming out. I guess I haven't seen Aaron Ciotti. Is Ciotti streaming tonight? I don't think he is. I haven't seen him. I hope you enjoyed that. little rant there at the end about clean flight, Betaflight. Dominic Clifton, I mean, you work for Flight One now, right? So what's your incentive to put all the good stuff into clean flight, right? Not to like call you out on stream, but I guess just don't say anything. Oh, there's Ciati, yay! Dominic Clifton, put all the good stuff into clean flight. He's streaming. Okay, guys, that's gonna do it. That's going to do it for this stream. Thank you so much for coming out. I hope you enjoyed it. Aaron Ciati is going to be streaming. He's posted a link to his stream over on his channel. He's doing some builds and some Q&A, and he's probably cussing a lot and taking the Lord's name in vain. Maybe he'll rant a little bit about Antifa. I don't know what he gets up to. But head on over there. Head on over there and watch him stream. And I will see you guys next Sunday. It's coming Sunday, 1 p.m., Monday, 8 p.m., and throughout the week. Happy flying, everybody. I'm out of here.